please.
No, we're going to be muted, yeah. Just for you to...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Freedom from Nigeria. This is where we provide you with a consolidated information about what you are seeing and what does it mean for the indigenous people of Nigeria. We are here today with quite a good panel of people. We've got Ngozi, we've got Noah, we've got Paul, Ibe Keme, we've got Citizen AY, of course, who is typically here with us. And today we are talking about something that is very, very important. This is the will to rise and defend their land, how the indigenous Nigerians must resist and rise up to defend their land. We'll be talking about why do they need to do this, right? We'll talk about what they need to do this. And I am going to go now to my screen to share it so that we can talk about it. So the will to resist and defend their land. We will talk about, again, we'll be talking about why should they, why do they need to do this really, right? We'll talk about the domestic and foreign organizations, groups and individuals that have pointed to government complicity and responsibility. Then we'll go ahead and talk about the two types of security that we need in our land. One is the security of indigenous people and the security of the indigenous nations, where we need to restore those nations that have been hijacked by the Fulani controlled government.
But will they not be destroyed?
We are going to be talking about how the indigenes must summon that will to resist the Fulanization and jihadist agenda and what they need to do to protect themselves. So buckle up. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to go through a lot of slides, but only so that you can understand, see the support behind what we're talking about, because today we are going to be focusing on what the indigenous Nigerians must do to both protect themselves and to reclaim their sovereignty that's been lost, and that is leading to the existential threats that they are facing. So I am going to welcome Citizen AY. Citizen AY, welcome to the show again.
Good evening to you all.
You can make some comments, about what you're facing and what we're going to be talking about today.
Good evening to you all, and good evening, Jane. Listen, it is very, very straightforward. We all know that we face existential crisis collectively as Middle Beltans, as Ojibwa people, and as Southwest, Southeast. All of us, Middle Belt and the South, we face existential threats. Those in the Fulanis who are in governance, they want to grab our land. They are intent on carrying out genocide, the likes of which we have never seen, the world has never seen. And what we're trying to do is to actually ensure that our people are aware and they can take steps to prevent that from happening, because this is, after all, our ancestral lands. So we are encouraging the indigenous people to know that they have one and indisputable thing that they should to know, above all, if they forget everything else, is that they have inalienable right to self-determination, and of course they have a right to life. Now that right to life they can protect and defend by any means necessary. That is something that we want them to know, because the killings that's going on, the relentless killings, is sickening, and we are encouraging our people to please work together. It's good to see Governor Autumn. One of the things we mentioned briefly, that Governor Autumn is keen on, is actually brought and sort of reenacted one of the acts that was brought in by a previous government back in 2001, whereby the vigilantes are able to carry weapons. We would like to see that rolled out across other states, but of course that's not going to happen immediately, and we shouldn't be waiting on that. What we should be doing is we want our people to become proactive and not rely on help from people who are not going to be there for them. That is why this program is very, very important. And we are here to make sure that you watching us, you can play your part. How can you play your part? First thing, share this broadcast. Make sure that people are aware. Make sure that we reach more people. it's about community action. That is what we want. We want the people to take action themselves. And if they don't take that action, they risk genocide being brought onto their door and not being able to resist it. So that is why we're doing this. And you'll play many of the things you will talk about. You'll hear on here. You might have heard about it before, but there's no harm in repeating the facts and stating the steps you can take. We want to empower everybody watching here to know that they can protect and defend their own community. It is our collective responsibility together. So for now, I'll stop there. Thank you very much, Jim.
Awesome. So now we are going
Thank you
to
very
ask
much.
everyone that is here to please go on camera. We need to see who all the people that are here. And
That's
if
correct.
if you're
It's
new
all that,
to our program, please
Yeah.
put your information in here where we can reach you. Chris, you are welcome. Chris, I'm not sure that we know who you are.
Chris,
Chris,
who's
could you
Chris?
please go on camera? Paul?
Yeah, we would like you all to be on camera because it's a courtesy thing, and also it just helps the
and
people who are
Kinky.
Wait,
listening.
you want us to turn our camera on?
Yes, please.
My
And
camera.
also, we need your names
Yeah.
because we have some new people and we do not want disruption as we go through this program.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am currently naked.
Oh, no, okay. Listen. Okay, I know what I'll do, but that's fine. Listen, we will
I'm
just.
just gonna remove him.
Yeah, I'm just putting him in waiting room right now. I'm not interested in naked and all that. We're not interested in that. That's he talked about the
I have
site.
removed him. I'm not even. So we've got Chris and Paul. Please make sure that you go on camera. Sorry, everyone. We need to take care of some housekeeping things to make sure.
Yeah.
Chris, if you could please go on camera so we can see who you are.
Chris.
Chris,
Nope.
could you please go on camera so we can see who you are? And Paul, not Paul Ibe Akeme. We're talking about.
Okay.
We're talking about the other Paul. There's a second Paul. Paul.
Okay.
Sorry, I bought a computer without a mic.
Sorry.
Sorry, my child is being very silly behind me, but
Yeah.
go away, child.
Where are you from? Where are you from? Sorry, where are you from again?
Where am I from? I live in
Yes.
London right now.
Yeah, but what's
I
your
immigrated.
country? Yeah, what's
My
your
country I'm from,
Where?
Nigeria. I
Okay.
immigrate to London.
Okay.
Okay, we
Yeah.
need
Okay.
to see you on camera.
Can we see your face? It doesn't.
I
you
was
keep-
just going to say I bought computer without a camera because I don't like Mark Zuckerberg
Right,
trying to
okay.
see my face because he tried to spy.
You know what?
He tried to spy on me, and I do not want this.
Okay, put them in the waiting room. Wait.
That's it. Yeah, we'll
We
wait.
need to have your name and.
Oh, so he's already in the waiting room. I don't want to.
No, there's
because-
somebody else called Wait.
Oh, Walt.
Is that Walt? Sorry, Walt.
Yeah,
Okay,
Walt.
Walt, we need to.
Before we proceed,
face,
because
please.
we
And
need to do
Jesse, we
housekeeping,
need to
we
see
cannot.
your face.
Who's Jesse? If we don't know these people, I don't think we should.
Jesse,
Because
we need to
they're
see
gonna
your
hold the
face.
thing up.
So we would put you in the
Hello?
room.
Okay,
Yes,
Jesse.
Could we please see your
Hi.
face?
My camera is not working now.
Yeah, but what? Okay, wait. Where are you from?
I'm from Cyprus. I came to learn about Nigerian like defense. I want to learn about
Defense.
I want to
Okay.
learn about what you're learning about. Yeah.
Okay. But it will see it'd be courtesy. Everybody here, we all got our faces on, and we're trying to make sure that when we speak to people, they can confirm and be sure that we are all who say we are.
I'd love to turn on my camera, but it doesn't work.
Okay. All right. Listen, I think we're gonna do something. Jesse, it's really nice of you, but we're gonna have to put you in the waiting room, I'm afraid.
Yes.
So
Hello,
yes.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody's playing music. So just for
Yeah,
us,
we will.
this Dr. Roboise, any single person that we can't see their picture, please, we have so much move immediately on the waiting room where they're not going to be part of the discussion. So we can go ahead for the
That's what I'm doing now.
Absolutely.
So
let's put Walt.
I've already done that. I've done
Okay.
that. So I've got Chris. I've got
Yeah,
Chris.
Chris.
Do you know Chris? Is that
No, and he's not speaking, so please put them
okay?
in the
Waiting room. Okay, it's gonna be in the waiting room. Paul, I know Paul Ibekweme.
Yes.
So please.
Okay.
So now, I think what's happening. Obviously, we have to say three things. What you guys just saw just now. it means that we are getting traction.
Yes.
It means that people somewhere, they want to know what it is we're trying to do, and they're trying to get into it. Now, on this platform, of course, what we do is we do not talk about intricate details. What we're trying to do is give each bare bones to our people to be able to then use and construct things around on ground themselves about how to provide their own safety and security. We are not going to be talking about how we're buying or whatever else somebody might think we're doing here, because 2 or 3 people just came on now. The way they were talking, it just didn't sound all right. But anyway, so we're back again. Jean, take over.
Okay, sorry everyone. Welcome again to Freedom from Nigeria. And today we are going to be talking about the will of the people. We're going to be talking about the will to resist and defend their land. How indigenous Nigerians must resist and save their land. And why are we having this discussion? Well, we need to talk about why they need to rise. And we're just going to go through this really quickly, because today we want to focus on how do we actually do this, right? We're going to talk about the 2 types of security we're talking about, that of the indigenous people themselves, and the next one is of the indigenous nations. How do we restore those nations and save those nations from the invasion that is going on right now? Okay, so let's talk about the first bit. Why should indigenous Nigerians rise up to protect themselves and the land? One of the key things is that domestic and foreign organizations have actually pointed to complicity, and we're going to show you the information on that. The federal, state, and local government areas have failed to protect the citizens. There is a Fulanization and jihadist agenda to take over Nigeria from the indigenes. And this is coming from not just Nigerians themselves, but people outside of Nigeria. And then we will talk about the fact that the West is not acting swiftly. But we have a responsibility to be serious so that we can be taken seriously. And the takeaway here is this. This is from T.Y. Danjuma, the video that he made back in 2018. He was very clear and very succinct when he said, if you wait for the federal government, you will all die. And then I'm also going to go back here and do and show a comment from Bernard Henri Levy, which he made late in 2021 after he had independently gone through the Nigerian situation. And he says, I accuse the regime of Muhammadu Buhari of complicity of the Islamist Fulanis, and he called for sanctions against Nigeria. So now, let's see, when we're talking about we're just going to go through a few videos, a few headlines that show both the foreign and the domestic observations of what's going on in Nigeria, and then we'll continue on to government complicity. So I'm going to go through this, and then Citizen AY will talk to us about the complicity. So here is the foreign observers. We've got the International Criminal Court. They were very specific in what they said. They said that the Nigerian armed forces have committed crimes against humanity that rises to the level of war crimes. War crimes. We're talking about the same situation that's going on in Ukraine, those type of war crimes. And this is one that's been perpetrated against the citizens of Nigeria. And as we go forward, you'll see why we're making that distinction, because we do have foreign Fulanis in Nigeria that are not being prosecuted. And then we have the Bernard Henri Levy that said that the West should sanction Nigeria for the genocide that's ongoing. And Amnesty International had this to say about the Ondo massacre. Gunmen in Nigeria enjoy impunity, meaning they are not prosecuted. And they must face justice. Now, these gunmen, we know who they are, because both Buhari and Bala Mohammed and a slew of the rest of the speakers, Shigami, etc., have indicated that these are Fulani, foreign Fulani, that are being brought in through Ruga, through the open borders, and through the stated activity to overtake Nigeria. What are the domestic observers saying? You've heard Can, we've heard Sokapu, we've heard various, we've got Ilana Omodua, the Minas, we've got IPOB, we've got all kinds of domestic observers talking about the fact that there's government complicity and that there's a Fulanization activity that is going on. Here is T.Y. Danjuma that we talked about previously. And then we talked about, we've got videos from various Fulani talking about that the government provided them with the AK-47. And we talked about May Lafia. I think a lot of people have seen that already. When he talked about the fact that the leader of Boko Haram in Nigeria is a current northern governor. And this was just in 2021 that he said that. What did Sheikh Gami have to say? And El Rufai, by the way, federal government knows the bandits' hideouts. And these bandits, we know, are Fulani. So if they know where to go to negotiate with these kidnappers, how is it that they are not able to get rid of them? That is the question. That's a $1 trillion question. So, so Citizen AY, talk to us about government complicity. This is some of the headlines that we have seen about that kind of point to the fact that the government must be behind this.
Yeah. I mean, it says here, killings, Buhari offered 100 billion compensation to Fulani Herdsmen. Now, to be clear, just that, let us go and look at that heading closely. It says killings, Buhari offered 100 billion compensation to Fulani Herdsmen. Now, let's be clear. He didn't offer 100 billion to the people killed. He offered it to those who are doing the killing. Who are the Fulani terrorists? The herdsmen, so-called bandits, they are terrorists. So that's where you can see the government complicity in what is being said. He knows fully well. He knows full well that these guys are terrorists. But instead of compensating, to date, I'm yet to see a comprehensive compensation package for those of people that have been killed in Benue, and people that have been killed in Kaduna, people that have been killed, all over the South. But the Fulanis, those doing the killing, is giving them 100 million. So that's one. Let's go and look at the next one. Killers had men, not terrorists. So now, he now says he's playing the game. Killer headsmen, not terrorists. So the killer headsmen are not terrorists. Again, the president is defending the terrorists against the people he promised, he swore on oath to serve and protect. He swore, I want you to think about what I'm just saying here. He swore on oath to serve and protect the citizens of that contraption we call Nigeria. But when he's speaking, all of his statements, all of his comments has been supporting terrorism. So that's point number 2 right there. Number 3, Fulani herdsmen carrying AK-47 are not Nigerians. So now, he's now telling us, trying to come up and say, the Fulani terrorists carrying AK-47 are not Nigerians. What are they doing in our borders then?
And what is the government doing to stop them?
Thank you. And what is the government doing to stop them? Those 2 questions. If they say they are not Nigerians, then they shouldn't, then again, the government has failed, because by the government of the day, the military should be protecting the borders, making sure that AK-47 foreigners are not in the country. But what has been happening to now, go ahead. What has been happening is that not only are the military not killing those who are entering the country, they're bringing them into the army. They are bringing 35,000 Boko Haram. They said they've repented. They've been brought into the army. So that is complicity in what they are complicit in the killing and extermination of the Middle Belt and Southerners. Please mute your call there. I'll just mute that for a second. Don't worry, I'll do it. I think it's muted this. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So now, so right there, you can see we just read 3 different things now, and you can see that there's a common thread running through it, and that is government complicity in the extermination of the indigenous people. You and I. That's what's happening. Now, let's go and look at the next one. Repentant terrorists to enjoy foreign education, Senate bill. They are now using the money that could be used to build schools, roads, bridges, hospitals, provide 24/7 electricity, to fund the same terrorists that the government brought in to kill the indigenous people, to send them on foreign education.
We have 100 million living at poverty, 100 million. And we're going to send terrorists to a foreign education. 100 million living in poverty.
In poverty. So again, you can see again that common thread: government complicity in acts of terrorism against its own citizens. That should be, and that is treason. TREASON. The evidence that we are putting before you are treasonable evidences that should have had this entire governance put in the docks, facing the crimes and being in jail. But we know that the Nigerian government doesn't work that way. This is something that would have, that is why we are saying we need to separate. But so let's put that there. And again, of course, what Jean said, 100 million in poverty, and the government is putting the interest of foreigners, terrorists who are coming to kill us above that of the people, the indigenous people. Again, you can see complicity of the actions of the government in terrorist acts against the citizens of that, the indigenous people of Nigeria. Now, global terrorism, Fulani militants named 4th deadliest group in the world. Only Boko Haram, ISIS, and Al-Shi deemed deadlier than little known militant group from West Africa. So the Fulani terrorists are 4th deadliest group, you know, in the world. But the government keeps protecting them. Oh no, we need to, you know, this is that's.
They are misguided. I think, who was that said that they were misguided?
They're not misguided. They're not misguided.
I think there was one of the governors,
yes,
governors that said that they are misguided.
Oh, it's all a ploy. They are all playing the game of,
yeah, let's just make sure to remind our people that Fulanese are migrants.
They're migrants.
Not indigenous to Nigeria.
They come from Futajalon. The people, the man that they love to call the man that gave them Nigeria, his parents come from Futajalon. The name of the man, Uthman Danfodio, his parentage can be traced all the way to Futajalon, Futatoru, all those areas in Guinea. That's where they come from. So they have no claim, zero. They have zero claim to any part of what we know as countries from Nigeria. Of course, we all know that there are 3 different countries, for many different kingdoms were put together by the colonials. But that's another story for another time. Now, let's go and look at this last one here. Nigerians should not take arms illegally to defend themselves. Minister of Police. So now, not only, please let me just put a little thing here. I want to talk about this a little bit more. In the South, from the Middle Belt to the South, the government had actually carried out a policy of removing Dane guns, any weapons that we, the people of the South, machete, they carried out several years long.
Operation Disarm the Indigenes.
They've disarmed all of these indigenes, whilst at the same time arming the terrorists with AK-47.
Because they have to protect cattle, they said.
So they were protecting cattle. So the cattle's lives are more important than those of the indigenous people who they swore on oath to protect. So who is the Nigerian government protecting? Is it the cattle or the people? You can see now by the evidence of the killings going on. And when a minister says that we should not illegally defend ourselves, if we don't defend ourselves by any means, that means we're dead. And they're giving us, it's almost like they're psychologically telling us to drop, just say that is our fate.
Right. Remember, Citizen AY, just to bring your attention, remember that the Minister of Defense told us not to be, what did he say? Cowards.
Yes, not to be cowards or fight. Yes, to be fight.
Face. Yeah, we should fight those bandits with AK-47s with our forks and knives.
Exactly. You know, I mean,
what are we going to fight them with?
You know,
where's the Nigerian government?
You know,
where's the military to protect the people?
That is what, and he meant those words because he wants to say, look, we are telling them to defend themselves, when knowing fully well that they are taking away most of the weapons, the little weapons we had left anyway, from us in the first place. Exactly. And by saying that, it will put a message to the world that, oh, we are trying to get them to defend themselves. But also the message is, if we defend ourselves, if we go out and do that, well, of course they will be shot down by the people with AK-47. So this is all, you can see a common thread running through this, and that is government complicity in acts of terrorism against indigenous people of Nigeria. Government complicity in acts of terrorism against the indigenous people of Nigeria. By any stretch of an imagination, that alone is enough to bring down this government. But it won't happen because they're the ones in power and we need to dismantle contract on Nigeria. Now let's go to the next one, which says, yeah, I said to you, in over 35,000 repentant terrorists for integration, reintegration, says Zulum. So without asking the people who have killed 35,000 foreigners, they've killed indigenous people.
Over 400,000 indigenous people killed.
Exactly.
So well over 400,000.
So they have killed over 400,000 indigenous people. And the same time, the people killed, the government have not sought it, deemed it fit to say, okay, we would like to bring, they have repented, but how do you all feel about this? They are foreigners. They've just put them into the army. Many of them have ended up in the army.
Yes.
Absorbed into the army, yes, as repentant fighters. And then they've sent
something that is not done anywhere in the world.
And get this, what is worse about this is that those repentant, so-called repentant terrorists, they are now in the south. They are in Middle Belt.
Yes.
And they are sent there, and their job is to kill Middle Beltans and Southerners. Now, when you see them in your community, you come out and say, okay, yes, they're coming to help you. But you soon see that they are the ones, as soon as you arrest any terrorist, they are actually handed to them and they let them go again.
Yeah, let's talk about what Zulum had to say about this repentant Boko Haram terrorist in 2021.
Yeah, it said,
us with that one.
Yeah, so
Nigerian now he's done a flip-flop. Now he's integrating them.
Yeah.
So this is what he believes about them in 2021. Yeah. If you can help us with that.
So now, thank you very much. Now look at this now. So in that was back in 2021. Now it says Zulum repentant Boko Haram members end up as spies for the insurgents. Same man who's telling us, oh, they have been reintegrated, they've repented. Keep in mind, what should happen with every single terrorist? They should go through the court system. They should see the four walls of the court system and be tried, each and every one of them, based on the acts of terrorism they carried out. Not one of them, not one of the 35,000 have seen the four walls of a court. Not one. They are shielded they are shielded by this government,
right,
from facing the crimes from prosecution for the crimes they committed. Shielded. But you're telling us to believe in one Nigeria. You're telling us to believe in one Nigeria where the people doing the killing are protected by the federal government using the funds of the people that are being killed. Are you not outraged?
Yeah, this is the reason why we're doing this again. Today is the focus on our indigenes.
Exactly.
This is the will to rise and defend. We need to resist what is going on. And we'll take a look at some of the videos. So we can engage some other people to talk.
So let 1 second. Let me just quickly do this. So please keep in mind that what we are focusing on now is the rights of the indigenous people and how they are going to protect themselves, very much like you said. So Ngozi, go ahead. Thank you very much.
You need to unmute.
I think she will do that now. Yeah,
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for.
So what do you think about all the evidence? And this is just some of the ones that you and I both know, but what do you think about, the indigenes understanding what so many have said, and very specifically what T.Y. Danjuma said, that if you depend on this government, you will all die. That was his comment.
Yeah, Thank you so much, Jane. I think you actually nailed it. And again, I thank the administrators for taking out those people that don't want to show their face. And we all need to understand that Nigerian government over the years systematically have planted people all over the world. So it's not just on this particular platform, but everywhere, including United Nations, OAU, and all that, to carry out their bids. So we must be aware of things like that. Coming to your question, the issue of the where we are going, the indigenous people and our future. T.Y. Danjuma nailed it. He nailed it in the fact that he let people know that if we do not do anything, we will all die one by one. And again, nobody can question the capacity, the intelligence, and the capability of T.Y. Danjuma as an ex-Nigerian military personnel to tell us some of the things some of us don't know. So when people like that talk, whether in the past 10 years, past 20, even now, we definitely have to take it serious. So what he said is what is happening in Nigeria today. I'll give you instances. One of the first instances that I have to tell you to let you know that Danjuma nailed it is that all of us are conversant with when Buhari gave money to Afghanistan. Hold on 1 second. Nicole, can you lower that, please? Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Buhari gave money, millions of naira to Afghanistan.
$1 million.
Yes.
Now we have 100 million Nigerians dying of hunger.
Exactly, for non-profit. And we have, like you said, 100 millions of Nigerians dying of hunger, but Buhari was able to give millions of dollars to Afghanistan. Do you want to ask yourself, why did he do that? You all need to know, before Nigeria became a member of the IOC, Islamic Organization Council, IOC has rules that guide membership. Just like if you have rules that guide lawyers, you have to be a lawyer to belong to a law organization. You have to be a doctor to belong to a doctor organization. You have to be a nurse practitioner. You have to be a social worker. You have to be a realtor to belong to realtor organizations. It is the same rule that applies to the IOC. You have to be a member that is going to propagate the Islamic and Muslim details in whatever you find yourself, for you to be admitted into the IOC. So Nigerian leaders that have put Nigeria into the IOC, they signed those contracts. And one of that contract is that they will make sure that majority of Nigerians, or even the country as a whole, become a part of an Islamic state. So do not go far to ask yourself, why is Nigeria a member of the IOC? Danjuma already saw that, and he explained it right there. Then let me tell you all, recent happening, Buhari just told Boris Johnson of the United Kingdom an issue that IPOB is bombing the pipelines, that Nnamdi Kanu was not jumped bail. But if you have a president of a country that disregards the rule of law, the law that was given by a competent jurisdiction of the law court, that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail, and they told Nigerian government to pay thousands of dollars of money, millions of naira to Nnamdi Kanu because Nnamdi was on bail. And the Nigerian government sent the Nigerian military and police to go and attack and kill over 20 innocent citizens in Nnamdi Kanu's house, which forced Nnamdi Kanu to flee because his life was in danger. This law was given, and it was given by a competent jurisdiction of Nigerian legal system, that Nnamdi did not jump bail, and the Nigerian government have to compensate Nnamdi Kanu. But Buhari, just 3 days ago, went to the UK to tell Boris Johnson that Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail. When they ask him, again, asking him that question is a forward for we Nigerian indigenes. But you all can see how the Nigerian government lies.
This is remember, Ngozi, we've been talking about narrative, and this is what we're going to be talking about. And Citizen AY and Eugene, we've been talking about narrative and driving the right narrative. If Boris Johnson is only hearing from Buhari, if Antonio Guterres is only hearing from Buhari, and let's just pretend that that's the case, even though we as indigenous people, to protect ourselves and to protect our nations, must have the ear of those people. We must make the effort to see that our information is getting to the right place, and we are debunking all of these false narratives, because you don't expect Boris Johnson to know everything that's going on in Nigeria. He's looking to the government. So individuals need to be clear. We need to be clear on what we're doing. Again, we're just bringing this close to what we're talking about today, what indigenes must talk about. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. But since you mentioned the narrative, Ngozi, go ahead and continue. I just want to point that out to our listeners.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, when I started by my statement by saying that the Nigerian Fulanese have planted their people all over the world, I need us to be aware of that. It's not just in Nigeria where they occupy most of the strongest positions in Nigeria. It is all over the world, in United Nations, in African Union, all over the world. They've planted their people. And the narratives that the leaders they've planted, that the people they've planted in these countries are across the world, the narrative they are spreading, just like you said, is the narrative that the Fulani and Buhari is spreading. And like you said, we must be able, and some of us have been doing it, to make those leaders be aware of the facts, which these Muslims and this Islam and these Fulanis that Buhari and co has planted all over the world. They are not spreading the right information all over the world. So we must be ready to counter them. Another thing I want to let us know, since our killing that happened like last month or a few months ago, Buhari has not made a public statement about our killing. Buhari has not made a public statement, just like he's making to Boris Johnson about IPOB and Nnamdi Kanu. Buhari has not made a public statement to United Kingdom that terrorists are killing Nigerian Christians in Owo, inside a church, and we need your help. He didn't do that. Nobody has heard Buhari said, we need help in combating these terrorists that are killing our citizens inside the church. He never said that, but he's quick to jump and say that United Kingdom should brand IPOB a terrorist, which will never happen because we are right inside the United Kingdom leadership. Again, the next thing I want to say is, Danjuma said that the Nigerian army is not neutral.
Yeah.
Nigerian army is not neutral. Danjuma was almost crying when he said, we have no other place to go. He said the Nigerian military are not neutral. I'll give you instances. The primate that was kidnapped in Southeast Nigeria, you all know, 2 or 3 military Nigerian personnel have been arrested for colluding with the people that kidnapped that primate, and they demanded 100 million naira. So in other words, the Nigerian Christians have contributed 100 million naira to the purse of the Fulani terrorists. That is what has happened. But I'm glad they've caught them, and the whole world is seeing how the repentant Boko Harams that have been indoctrinated into Nigerian military and police are now playing part in the destruction of Nigeria by kidnapping Christians and allowing them to raise money to fund terrorism in Nigeria. So that is a good. Then the last point I want to say is this. No election in 2023 in Nigeria. No presidential election in Nigeria without a referendum or restructure of Nigeria. All of us are aware. Tinubu recently has no certificate, not primary, not secondary, the Nigerian consulate in the U.S. embassy in Nigeria has issued a statement. I can forward it to whoever wants, that Buhari has no certificate from Chicago State University, where he said that he obtained a degree in business and administration, which is just used as business administration. So the U.S. embassy in Nigeria issued a statement far back in 2011 that Tinubu was never a student of Chicago State University.
Wow.
I will post it to us right now.
Yeah.
Atiku is being tried for over 40 million naira crime perpetrated by
40 billion. Do you mean billion? Not
billion,
million?
maybe billion, yeah.
Billion.
Right. Perpetrated by him and his American wife that he married. Is all over social media, and I can post that. So how can we allow people that have such false record to be the next president of Nigeria? What are you going to tell your children and your grandchildren?
Thank you.
Representing us as Nigerian next president. So there'll be no 2023 election, and I want to make sure we all stand on that ground by telling all our family members in Nigeria to make sure, yeah, they can get their PVC. They can all get their PVC, because some of the banks and schools right now, they say, if you have no PVC, you cannot be in a bank. But we must spread that information until they restructure or call it referendum.
No referendum, no election. No referendum, no election, because the people who are the political class that is running Nigeria, and this is all political class, right? It doesn't. It's the Fulani, it's those in the middle belt and those in the south. They are not friends of the. They are not friends of the indigenous people.
Nope,
they are not
indeed.
Friends of the citizens. But again, what we're talking about here, let's kind of reset what we're talking about here, is we're talking about government complicity. And Ngozi has really talked to a lot of that, and she has brought in an additional information about those who are currently going to run for the presidency.
Yeah.
That are not qualified. Buhari was not qualified. Atiku is, as Obasanjo says, the biggest thief in Nigerian history, when he was working with Obasanjo. And we have seen the statements that he's made about this terrorist, right?
Yeah.
And Tinubu, I mean, that was breaking today. I mean, I woke up to all this information. He didn't go to primary school or secondary school, but he's claiming he went to university, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got lots of issues, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of the issue. That's just the political process problem. We've got a bigger problem of the Constitution. And if anyone wants to know about the Constitution and the problems with it, you can take a look at the UN Special Rapporteur that went out to Nigeria in 2019. And she tagged the constitutional arrangement in Nigeria as a major problem. And she said that the situation was grave. And the next one that went out in 2020 said that the situation was even worse. And now we're in 2022. And if we recall, May Lafia is one of the other ones that we're going to talk about, that talked about the fact that they are getting ready to make their move, right? In 2022, they're getting ready to make their move in 2022. So we've seen the heightened lies going out to the world, right? Let us integrate terrorists who are foreigners. How do you integrate foreigners? Who is bypassing the Nigerian immigration law? Who is bypassing? What international country, any country, have been able to reintegrate or integrate foreign terrorists into their world? We saw Afghanistan and what happened there. So I just want us to continue so that we can talk about some more of the items. And I'm going to give Eugene, let's kind of keep on what we're talking about, because this is about what citizens need to do. And as we're talking about this, we're going to be talking about what citizens need to do, right? So the next thing that we're going to go on is Fulanization agenda, but I'm going to give Bolade, you've got just 1 minute to make a comment, and then Eugene, you've got a minute to make a comment.
Okay, all right. I'll keep it. Well, you see, with our to talk about what we should do to defend ourselves. It's a bit simple and not simple. I'll take simple because the one is this, is that if your life is being threatened by anybody, you have the right to protect your life to the best you can. Now,
by
if that
any means necessary,
by any means
necessary,
yes.
by international
necessary.
law, African law, Nigerian law, by any means necessary.
You don't wait till the person's going to carry out this deed comes to you and he's going to finish you up before you act. So therefore, I would say, if we know these people, these Fulanis or whatever, have put their guns in the forest, we, our people, could watch them, see where they've got their guns, take their guns, and we have them.
Can we do something, my brother? I don't want to. Let's not talk about those kind of things in a bit.
Well, this is one of the things that those things are not the. I mean, the governors, the senators, and the representative must take the steps to do that.
Exactly.
We have seen in Udo has just gone and started doing that in Anambra State.
That's
governors,
correct.
This is where the people,
exactly.
The people need to get their governors. And get rid of those riffraff carrying guns in.
I saw one yesterday where they were saying something like that, but they were talking that he was talking to the Minister of Justice, and they were talking about restructuring and all that, and he was bringing up these kind of issues, and they were saying, "Oh, you just want to be able to steal more money for yourselves and all that," and said, "No, the federal government cannot defend us, so we have got to take it on the state. It's got to take it itself to defend our people." The justice said the same thing.
Okay,
he would not let it stand at that meeting.
Thank you, Eugene. 1 minute, please. Eugene, go ahead. You can unmute.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. So what I wanted to say is, building on what Ngozi said, I think it's obvious that we have identified time and time that our message is not reaching out, that the Caliphate government is out smarting us in sending false messages to these governments. And they sent the vice president one time to come and lie about killing Christians. So now, since we know these things and we have identified it, shouldn't we organize a group that could be sending out messages? I mean, we live in a world where we know that communications is very, very essential.
We are working on that. We've been talking about that. I think you've missed some of the meetings, but that's one of the things that we're definitely working on. We have a Unity Media and Ambassadorship program that we are working on currently. And in the next 2 to 4 weeks, you should start seeing a lot of things happening around the world on what's going on in Nigeria. So yes, that's definitely one of the things that we have talked about in the process of implementing. So let's continue with what we're talking about here. We're talking about government complicity, right? And why else should they defend themselves and their land? Well, there is a Fulanization agenda that is going on in Nigeria. Noah, are you still with us, or Paul? I'm trying to see who's just kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Fulanization agenda. Sorry, Noah, are you there?
No, are you there? I think he might be busy.
Yeah, he might be. So, Paul.
A question.
Go ahead, Ngozi.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jane. And the last speaker, I know you just told him you're doing something on that. The last meeting we had is over 3-4 weeks ago when we agreed we have to send out a publication on the UN ambassador that visited Nigeria.
Yeah.
And encouraged Buhari to reintegrate repentant Boko Harams and repentant terrorists into Nigerian military. It's over 4 weeks or 5 weeks. We've not seen anything to that effect. And again, you just responded to this guy. You're doing something about that. Again,
right. If I may, can we defer this to a private conversation because this has been broadcast live? Because emails were sent out with the drafts and people have not responded. So let's defer what we're doing in the back to a private conversation. You know, when we have the next one.
Again, but I would like you to really be clear on the timeline, because if we
exactly, there are things that we are still moving forward. So in that 2 to 3 weeks that I talked about, there will be a lot of things that you will be seeing. That is a definite information on that. So yeah, okay, thank you very much for that. But just to let everyone know, you know, like when we have meetings and we have the things that we need to do, we are also going to be relying on people to kind of respond so that we can finalize some of the things that we're doing and we can move on. But in the background, we'll still have lots of things that's going on. The information that's been prepared for different world media, the folks that we are looking to submit information on those that can be freedom ambassadors, you know, because this is part of the thing that we're talking about that our people need to do, right? The media that we're talking about that our people need to do, all groups, all freedom groups that actually believe in freedom must be in the media, not just in Nigeria, but around the world. They must have people who are qualified to be able to be freedom ambassadors. And we're trying to kind of funnel that through a process so that we can all be consistent in the type of messaging that is going out. So this is something that we're calling on. You know, I know that some of the groups are already working on that, like the Yoruba Global Directorate. I think that they are working on something of that. But this is, you know, obviously something that is very important because, as Ngozi pointed out, Buhari, and that's not the first time that Buhari has lied. Buhari lied to Trump, telling him that the Fulani Herdsmen are not carrying weapons. All of them are carrying weapons. They're the only ones in Nigeria and the terrorists who are allowed to carry weapons. The only ones. And they are carrying them. And we're seeing the activity every single day. So it behooves us because we need to get serious. If we, the indigenous people, are not serious, who's going to take us seriously? If we are, you know, a closed mouth does not eat. So we must speak. We must be out there talking about this in the United States, in the UK, in Germany, in Ghana, in South Africa, everywhere that a Nigerian can be found. You must be the ambassador for what's going on in Nigeria. That's what we're calling the indigenous people to do. Anywhere that you are, especially those in the diaspora. If you're in Ghana, speak to them. Kenya, speak to them. Namibia, speak to them. Cote d'Ivoire, speak to them. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about. But let's go on. Today is about what we need to do. Let's talk about why. And I'm just going to run through this and then we'll open up the discussion and really focus on what people need to do. The Fulanization agenda. Giving land for ranching is better than death. This is the presidency. And just in 2022, Ruga was rejected by the lawmakers. However, in 2022, the federal government wants to establish 119 ranches in the Middle Belt. What does that say to you? 119. The Fulanese are killing. And the Benue governor has been very vocal about this. And this is where Buhari is going to establish 119 ranches, which the people have rejected through their lawmakers. They're still moving ahead with Ruga. And so Ruga is a guise of Fulanization. It's not pasteurization, because all foreign Fulani are supposed to be Nigerian citizens of Nigeria. Who does that? Who has the authority to do that in Nigeria? No one. Foreign Fulani are foreign Fulani, and they're bringing them in. Bus loads, they're coming in through the open borders. Okay, and so here's a video that we've seen, right? We've seen these. The foreign Fulanis have been brought in to change the dynamics. Let's talk about jihad. Listen up, people. Jihad is going on in Nigeria. This is the reason why you must arise and have the will to resist and defend your land. Jihad is going on in Nigeria. Nigeria has been described as the world epicenter of jihad violence. It is at catastrophic levels for Christians. But also moderate Muslims are feeling the heat, right? The top US general warned that terror groups had their eyes set on Nigeria. This was given to the federal government, I think, back in 2021. And here's some others. Muslim extremists accused of targeting Christians, right? And then we had Frank Gaffney back in 2019 that talked about that as well. He went to Congress to talk about that. We have human rights groups talking about the genocide of Christians. This is a jihad that we're talking about. So why should the indigenes rise up? Well, their freedom has been threatened. Their religious freedom has been threatened. Their land is being taken over. If you don't have any more reason than to arise, this is it, right? They're killing Christians, burning their churches, and this group says it is beyond international rebuttal. There's no rebuttal. There's no question. It is going on. And then the NGO estimated in 2021 that they had, 3,400 Nigerian Christians killed and 3,000 abducted. And this was early on in 2021. You have seen how many abductions is going on. So now let's talk about the security, which is what we want to talk about. The government has failed the people, so the people must arise. This is what we want to talk about. We've talked about the reasons why. The government is not protecting the people. The Fulanis are invading. There is a jihad where the Fulanis are partnering up with Boko Haram, ISIS, and ISWAP. So we have the invasion to take over Nigeria that has now merged with the jihadists. So we are facing a real existential threat. So indigenous Nigerians, your lives are in danger. Your freedoms are in danger. Your land, your heritage, the future of your children is in danger. These are significant reasons for you to arise, okay? So let's talk about, again, what Bernard Henri said. The Nigerian government is not only tolerant, but complicit in the violence in Nigeria. Bernard Henri Levy told a press conference at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on October 27, 2021. Were I a congressman in the United States, I would study targeted and well-proportionate sanctions against the regime which encourages such crimes. I accuse the regime of Muhammadu Buhari of complicity of the Islamist Fulanis. So we know why. We know what's going on, or our people should know. They're still wanting to grab people and take them to the police, and they get released. When they should be doing specific things. Indigenes need to do specific things, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about personal security, farming security, house of worship security, and community security. Then we will talk about the nations. So I am going to call on Stephen. Are you at a place where you can speak? Because we want to talk about the security of the indigenous people. And we're going to talk about a couple of things. Like I said, a personal security, what they need to do. We're going to talk about the house of worship, what they need to do. And then we're going to have a conversation after we talk about these to talk about what we need to do to restore our nation. So Stephen, if you're at a place where you can chat, can you please talk to us about personal security and some of the things that need to happen, and farming security? And then we'll go to Noah, if it's available, to talk about the house of worship security and community security. So it's on the
yes, Noah
Stephen.
is there.
And Citizen AY, you can, obviously pitch in as when he's done. Go ahead, Stephen,
Okay.
if you're able to speak.
Jean,
Yes.
I apologize. I'm actually on the train, but
Okay.
I thought I would make a public service announcement in light of Dr. Ngosi's impassioned speech and our discussions on self-defense. I just want to let us in on a secret that is not so secret about the Yoruba community. I'm hoping you guys can still hear me. Now, come rain or high waters, the Yoruba community will be declaring a republic before December 31, 2022. I am saying this affirmatively as a matter of public record.
Good job.
I'm working with an organization called Ominira Yoruba 2022, which stands for Yoruba Independence 2022. We have decided to do that because we understand the charade that the international community is playing on the atrocities going on. I'm saying this now because just so that other alliance members may prepare themselves accordingly. Because once we declare a republic, you can expect the Fulani government to take actions, and the actions will not be limited. So what we need to be, we need to factor that into our conversations on how we create the awareness within our different alliance members and the kind and timing of messages to the international community. We have stood long enough. If we continue, and I apologize, if we continue the way we are, we're going to end up at the 2023 elections with armored tanks stationed at the polling places, and we'll be unable to do anything about it, and we'll just be logged in. So we need to keep that in mind. No matter what happens, the Yoruba Alliance will be declaring the republic. Yes, and you are welcome to quote me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a segment that would have been, obviously appropriate when we talk about the nation building, but that's okay. We'll take it there. So Ngozi, you had a comment to make. You can go ahead and make the comment, and then we'll go back to talking about the security and what the indigenous people need to do with their personal security, because we're dividing that between the personal security and also the security or the saving of indigenous nations. Go ahead, Ngozi.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Faleti and Jean. I just wanted to chip in a little comment. I heard when you said that we have to, our presentation or our publication is coming up, but you want to hear from all the different regions and different groups and all that. And I think I just want to piggyback on that particular statement, because you don't really need to have a collaboration of all the different groups in America or Nigeria to make a publication. If the individuals, I know I've made several publications in Nigerian newspaper. The point I'm trying to make here is this: we don't need to wait until you have all the approval of all the individual organizations in America for us to make our publication. For instance, the visit by the United Nations Consulate to Nigeria, that guy is over how many weeks ago? And we cannot continue to say, oh, you're waiting for all the other people to contribute. Sometimes you might make a publication that is way past the active stage where people need to grasp the message you're trying to pass. And that's just what I'm trying to say. We don't really, I know you're trying, and we are trying to, if there's something that you need, just let us know. Some of us are so busy that we cannot really actively participate daily, but if it's something that has to do with maybe finance or publication, then just let us know. But we don't have to wait until every organization in America are part of our.
Okay, I have heard. Can we not discuss this here? Let's move on with what we need to do. That is not what we're doing. I just sent you a message. That is not what we're doing. So I will have a chat with you. I've needed to have a chat with you about what the process that we are going through, because it's really, we are going to be doing our publications, but we are readying the, getting in touch with the different media that we want to target. We're also at the same time working with people to target the individual organizations that we're going to be working with. We're not waiting for all of them, but they're just certain things that we're waiting to put in place, and so that we can start getting those messages out. But I will talk to you about that. Let's take this offline, please. We need to focus on what we want our people to do. And, obviously part of it is getting these organizations to respond, right? And you brought up a great topic, the the Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, came to Nigeria in May, and he made a statement that he endorses the integration of foreign Fulani into the Nigerian community. He called them insurgents. These insurgents are not Nigerians. Buhari has told him, those carrying AK-47s, these are foreigners. Everyone has told them. The primate that was captured said the same thing. These are foreigners. Bala Mohammed, Bauchi governor, right, said the same thing. The people in the forest are criminals. They're foreign. They're not Nigerians. How are you now going to integrate foreign terrorists? Let's even forget about the homegrown terrorists, but foreign terrorists. You want to bring them 35,000 in Zamfara just this year, 6,000 on Borno last year, 144 released by the government. The number is staggering. This is an army, foreign army. Okay, we've shown the Bala Mohammed Ruga video over and over and over again, and the messaging is clear. It's an invasion. We've done that over and over, and it is clear. So we're just gonna want to move on so that we can focus on what we want to talk about today, which is what the indigenes need to do. Okay, so Noah, are you still available to speak? We just want to go over personal security, farming security, and what we're calling on people to do. If not, Noah, if you're not Citizen AY, if you can kind of shed some light on
I'll be able to talk in 3 minutes.
That we're talking about. Noah, are you available?
My hand is up, Jim.
He said 3 minutes. He said 3 minutes.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead then, Citizen AY. Let's talk about personal security.
Yeah,
There's
look.
been too many kidnappings.
Yeah.
There's been too many
Yeah.
farms ransacked. Let's
I'll be able to talk
about
in 3 minutes.
Operation No More Surprises.
Okay. Paul, we will get back to you just after we finish. Well, what we'll do is, Noah said he can talk in 3 minutes, but I think we probably have to carry on with what we're doing now.
Right, go ahead.
So what we'll do after that, then we'll bring in Paul, then Noah will come in, and I'm sure there'll be other things you can pick up as well. Just on this, look, our priority right now is the safety and security of our people, indigenous people, the indigenous people. Your safety and your well-being has to be your top priority above what anybody else says. That means that you protect yourself within your community. And here are a few things that we looked at. It says personal security, travel in convoy, carry personal security items home or purchased, travel during daylight hours, farming security, governors to form armed farming guards in each community comprised of people from community, carry various forms of protective items from traditional to Western, establish watch and early warning system, house of worship.
We'll talk about that next, but let's talk about personal security. Let's really delve into what people need to be doing.
Now, let me to talk about the personal security. One of the things I would suggest you do is this. I've been in talks with somebody at the minute. They're probably doing a show, discussion whereby we're going to talk about martial arts. It would be a good idea to look at having some sort of martial arts, if we can, in our community. Start teaching our women to defend themselves if they are suddenly being apprehended. The people are trying to apprehend them in the farm or on their way somewhere and they happen to be alone. How they can defend themselves. Self-defense is very important. Also, you should also be able to, whether or not anybody tells you, oh, you shouldn't carry anything to defend yourself. You have that right. You have a right to life. Section 33 guarantees you right to life in the Nigerian Constitution. The UN Convention and an AU Convention, African Union Convention, all state that you have a right to life. And you have a right to protect that life. In the absence of the state providing you with safety and security in your community, it falls on your shoulders as an individual to protect that life by any means necessary. We're not saying to go and take somebody's life. No, we're saying protect you and your family's life. You have the right to protect it. So that's very, very important point to state at that point. And that should be something that every community should be aware of. The fraudulent 1999 Constitution, Section 33 states you have a right to life. The African Union, you have a right to life. The European Union, you have a right to life. The United Nations, sorry, you have a right to life. All those conventions guarantees you your right to life, and you have every right to defend that life. So you do everything possible within your area to ensure that you get through a situation alive. If that means carrying arms to protect, P-R-O-T-E-C-T, protect yourself, then you should have that. Because the government keeps saying, oh, the people who are carrying, we just read to you now. The federal government, Buhari says the people carrying AK-47 are foreigners. He doesn't explain why they are in the country. And when you meet such people, your life is in danger. So you need to protect yourself. You need to, I just said something I did just a minute ago, some videos I posted on Citizen AY. I posted a video where they talked about the issue of everybody having, being aware of what is in our forest right now. You need to be aware of what is in our forest right now. All over the Southwest, Southeast, Middle Belt, the Fulanis are in our forests. Now, to be safe in your community, you need to actively engage in being part of a security system. I call it, we can call it whatever. I call it Community Action Plan Against Terrorism, CAPAT, because if you do not protect your community, if you do not engage in, participate in providing, exactly, thank you. So they're not Nigerians, but they're in Nigeria. They're in Nigeria. Now, one of the reasons I'm saying this is to really reiterate that point, that listening to what the people in government are saying is a waste of your time and it's putting your life in danger. We need to put systems in place in every community where you know that your survival depends on your actions that you take within your community. So your personal safety is very much tied into the community safety. So the stronger your community is in terms of being able to provide safety and security, the better the chances of you surviving, or as many of you surviving. So the forest is an area we are urging you all. Like, we're not going to tell you everything we need to do in terms of that here, but we're going to tell you that those forest areas, you have to make sure that it's clear, because the forest and the farm are in the same place. Your forest and the farm are in the same place. Where you're going to go to your farm is going to be within the forest. And these people are waiting for you there. And we are asking every community to come together, Middle Belt and South, come together, protect yourselves collectively. That is the best way to survive this genocide that they're trying to bring, collectively. But of course, we're saying each person have something. You have a right to protect that life. Have something to provide, to protect you with. Do not just walk around. You see, I need to do something. Jean, if you would have let me just speak on this a bit more. I want to go into detail about this thing about personal security. Every time we've been seeing videos, oh, I'm making people know, oh, they've attacked, they've abducted this one, oh, they've adopted that one, oh, they've abducted. It will keep happening until we flush out the forest.
Yes.
It will keep happening because one day they will go, and they are very clever at what they're doing. They will attack one village and they will withdraw and take somebody in there. And they know that you don't want to come to the forest. They go and attack another village and then they will withdraw. Meanwhile, you are paying. All of you are not standing on your own. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? They are attacking you, and you have to find the money to rescue the person they've abducted or killed or raped. Now we are asking you, the time for panic, stop. There is no need for panic. It's time for action, collective action. And action means you see the Fulani terrorists with guns in your forest, you do everything in your means to neutralize that situation, And you can do this. You can do it. It is doable. You can use and I will say it again, I cannot go into specifics more than that, by any means necessary. Because if you do not clear that forest, your communities are under threat.
Well, let's talk about how they go about doing that, right? Because a lot of times people are afraid of the military that will come in. So what we're advocating, you know, as we'll talk about community, that's a good segue into the community. Let me go to that. What we're talking about with the community, just as we're talking about, you know, the personal security, the community security is extremely important, right? Because we have a government. So if the federal government has failed, the people, the government that is closest to the people is the state government, is the state senators, is the state representatives, right? That's who you need to go and demand that they either get the federal government to arm the vigilante groups, or they need to put in a law similar to what Autumn has done to arm the vigilante groups. And for those in the international community that don't know what vigilante is, vigilante is just community security, sort of like the community action program against terrorism, right? This is what the vigilante groups, the security group. But they are hampered by the fact that they do not have any means of actually protecting the people. Okay. Right?
Oh, June, we got 3 people who raised their hands here.
Right.
We got Bolade,
So
we got Noah, and Ngozi.
Yeah. Right. So we're talking about security, and you guys can talk about, and we'll talk about specifically, you know, some of these things, you know, house of worship and community. But since Citizen AY talked about the community security and flushing out the forest, that's one of the things that we must demand that the governors do. They have to clear out the forests of the inhabitants. Because we know this already. If you listen to Bala Mohammed's video in 2019, he says those people are miscreants. They are the what did he say? What did he call them again? They are not, they're the criminal elements. But those criminal elements are foreign Fulani. Right? So we know the bandits are Fulani, kidnappers are Fulani. Mainly, we have
everything.
Copycat. We have copycat other groups now trying to do that and help them so they can get money, right? But we know who is there. Buhari has said it.
Indeed.
They are foreigners. How can a country, a federal, state, local government, not deal with foreign terrorists and allow them to be swarming into the country? Something is wrong. So I'm going to go to Bolade. We're talking about security. Please keep your comments. Focus on what people need to do. Let's make it clear and concise so people know what they need to do.
Sorry to take you a little bit back because I did put it in the chat. I heard, did I hear right that I said I'm
gonna flash it up. I'm gonna move to the next person and I'll flash it up from you. Noah, I'll flash that up for you. Here it is. UN chief backs Nigeria integration of insurgents, calls it key to peace. And this is what Ngozi was talking about, that we are preparing a response to him to find out if he's aware of the fact that these insurgents are foreign Fulani. They are not Nigerians. And so how do we now give citizenship to foreign terrorists that have not been prosecuted and are operating with impunity? Okay, so that's the response that we're preparing to send to him, because maybe he's not aware of the situation in Nigeria.
You know, I doubt he will. I doubt.
We're putting all of this together for him to be aware, for the world to be aware.
I doubt he's not aware. They're just.
Well, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? We're going to give the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so we have Noah. Go ahead. We're talking about personal security. We're talking about community security. We're talking about house of worship security, right? We're talking about the security in this segment of the people. And then in the next segment, we'll talk about the security or the restoration of nations. So Noah, if you can go ahead, I'll share the screen and I can go wherever you want to go. And then Ngozi, you're up.
Yeah.
Noah, okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. From a good afternoon, everybody.
Evening.
So from my investigation, when it comes to security and my own opinion and conclusion, I discovered that those people, because the recommendation is that holding the people in power into responsibility. And from our investigation, from other actions that we have took security-wise, so we discovered that when we apprehend anybody and we take them to the precinct, or whatever they call it in Nigeria, to the police station, to the cop in the country, for whatever reason, from our investigation, they usually receive a particular call. And based on Nigerian constitution and the way the police force is set up, you have to obey the rank. So when they receive the call from Abuja or wherever, so the response is usually, yes, sir, irregardless of the evidence that we put on the table, whether the person is a bandit or no matter the number of evidence. Okay. Having that said, as a body, what can we do to protect the people that we even think that can protect us in that manner, so that people will be brought to justice? I mean, in our own effort and community policing that we are, because some people are ready in Nigeria to do the job and stuff like that. That is one. Then secondly, those people in political class, like, okay, call out the governor, call out this and that, and those that are not governor, but that are related to, that are related political wise. Those ones that are related political wise are protecting their political ambition, and they don't want to cross line. In order for them to receive, Ghana must go for the oncoming election or for the relation. What am I saying? There's what is called power show in Nigeria. I know the culture. There's what is called power show. For you to be able to maintain your power show, we call it awala wambe. How do I say that in English? The awala wambe.
We're the ones there. We're the ones there.
Yes. For you to be there in Nigeria, it's either you know politician, or you know cop, or you know military.
Or in broken English, them.
Yes. Or you are relevant in the church. So it is that is causing this problem. And I keep saying it. There are a lot of concepts that need to stand for ourselves. But presently, as I'm talking, the all hand is not on deck. You see, something is going to happen. That stage, we are not there yet. The stage that will happen in which they will call us to come and help them. I'm telling you, that situation will happen. We are not ready yet. This package of protecting our people, we are more concerned because we have a lot of information and we are more proactive because we are outside the country. Fine. But these people, they have not actually shot themselves in the leg. What am I saying? People, except Uncle Wole Soyinka, who is who, they are not facing the press enough. They are not speaking up enough, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Because, they are not speaking up enough, in my opinion. But what we should be doing now is this. Now, let's get to the point. We're going to get our own white paper, roadmap, the people that we're supposed to call out that can go into action, the IG of each state, there's people we call civil defense. There's a particular group.
And all of that.
Yes, we're going to have their contact. A time is coming, they will be forced to cooperate. We are not there yet. But we have those contacts. We have our own network. We'll be doing our job. I
don't know. I can explain that. It's a bit more difficult.
When the shovel meets the road, right?
Yeah, when the rubber meets the road, it should be meeting the road now. There are too many attacks every day across Nigeria.
It has not.
Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot. It is time for us to start acting. We cannot wait.
No. It's not that we're gonna wait.
Indigenous must arise now. We're getting behind the 8 ball. We're definitely get falling behind.
Then we need to fund them. then
So
we need to start asking
okay,
ourselves
so
for like
let's
$500
move
each.
on. Let's move on.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because
we
there are
need
lots
to
of things
start
that we
asking
need to
ourselves and
do, but
fund
there are
them.
things that can be done on the ground. They need to go to the governors and
Mm.
hold them accountable. They need to go to
Accountable,
their
yeah.
senators, hold them accountable. House of Rep, hold them accountable. The local government areas, hold them accountable. The
Jane,
citizens need to rise up and demand that they do their jobs. The politicians must do their
job. Yeah.
Jane,
Must do their
Jane,
job.
I will just add one thing I want to add on that point is this. The very definitely they must hold the those in power, so-called governors and senators and House of Reps to account and force them to do their job. But that must be tied with the clear understanding within those communities that it's got to be part of their community action plan against terrorism. That is to say, they're going to be front-facing on the areas of protecting themselves.
Yes.
So this area of going to speak to somebody will be somebody appointed to go and do that within that community so that they're aware and they can communicate it. So they can communicate it that way. Because that is one of the ways we can actually achieve what we're doing. Because a lot of, I mean, like I said, I keep going back to it. There's a video that I saw about the Oni in Ekiti where they abducted the pharmacist. And the people there was a lot of people on the streets. They were shouting and running up and down. They did not have clear direction. That is where a community action plan against terrorism is important. Yes. Have a meeting, have a structure. That way, that energy can be dissipated in, okay, we appoint these people are going to go and speak to the House of Reps, senators, and the governors. These people are going to be the ones, they break it down. So the people are now taking personal responsibility for their collective safety. This is where we need to make that change within our community, because a lot of people are very, very much, oh, somebody come and help us. The help you're going to get has to be within your community.
Right. So you see a couple of, there's a couple of people that taking someone.
Yeah.
And everybody is scattering. There's, like 10, 20, 30 people and they're running helter-skelter.
Yeah.
Help the people.
That's what I mean.
What is the update
run
on
away
those
from
people
it
that were arrested in Owo?
Well,
let
me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
It's about
let me tell you what's going to happen with them. The call will come from Abuja, and that will be the end of the matter. It's happened time and time again.
Nothing has happened to anyone that has been arrested.
Nobody.
Everyone that's been arrested in all those villages. No one has been
nobody's been jailed. They have all they pardoned 35,000 repentant terrorists, and they put them in the army. What does that tell you? I don't have any confidence in this government. What we need to do is to build confidence.
We've talked about this, right? We have talked about this. We talked about this Ondo massacre. Gunmen in Nigeria enjoy impunity.
Yeah.
And they must face justice. This is Amnesty International. This is not even Amnesty Nigeria. Amnesty International.
Yeah.
Okay. Bernard Levy, Henri Levy said the same thing. ICC is investigating Nigerian armed forces for war crimes right now as we speak. They were in Nigeria in May.
Exactly.
Okay. So guys.
Okay, I have a question.
What is going on?
I have a question.
No, that's why we're talking about this right now. We're talking about this right now. It's about government complicity. It's about what and maybe I should play that video now. Let me play the because it's short, the Danjuma video, and we can also play the Melafia video, because it is important for people to understand that this is real. When the call came out by Danjuma, the Benue governor immediately supported it, because that is real. Okay, guys, that is real. What we're talking about there, it's real, right? It's not something that's made up. He knew what was going on. And give me a second. Let me bring that up. Let me bring up that video, because it is important for everyone to see this video and really understand what is going on. Hold on. I need to go to one that is on YouTube.
Yeah.
So just give me a second. Then we can show that. Let's see, is this one that we can show? Okay.
Technology, computers, and coding are an extreme.
Okay.
But the peace in this state is under assault.
I'm gonna share. I'm gonna
yeah,
start
you
it from
share
the
it, yeah.
beginning. Yeah, I'm gonna share it and start it from the
This
beginning.
state, and of course, in all the riverine states of Nigeria. But the peace in this state, is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing.
Ethnic cleansing. Are you listening?
And of course, in all the riverine states.
And all the riverine states of Nigeria. Ethnic cleansing. All the riverine.
We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. With the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Okay, so guys, this is what we're talking about, right? This is what we're talking about, that we have an issue with what is going on in Nigeria with the government.
Good.
It is as clear as can be. He made it very clear, very
Explicit.
succinct. Autumn immediately agreed with him that that was a problem. And then last year, it was May Lafia that said that they had communication with Boko Haram leaders who indicated that a sitting northern governor is head of Boko Haram in Nigeria.
Yeah.
He made that clear. And he also said that he also went on to say that they had plans to start a civil war in 2022. So you can see the height, and we've seen buses recently. I don't know how many of you have seen buses of these foreign people heading to the south. The U.S. government warned the Nigerian government, but of course, how are you warning? I mean, like the fox. They're warning the fox in the hen house.
It almost seems like it's like trying to present. Oh, look, we're making them aware, and they're complicit.
The question: how many of these attempts have the Nigerian government stopped? How many have the Nigerian government arrived before these people left? Some of these take hours. For you to abduct 200 students, do you want to know how long that's going to take?
Yeah.
What about the attack on the train? How long did that take? What about the Kaduna airport? How long did that take? They invaded the academy. How long did that take? In none of these instances that the Nigerian government would have gotten the intel from international community was the Nigerian government to be found. And in fact, the primate that was, when he was released, he said that there were young people that wanted to go after the perpetrators, and the army prevented them from going there. And this is what we hear from the Middle Belt, from Southern Kaduna, from the Northeast, where they've killed over 350,000 people as of last year, according to the UN. This is the United Nations. This is not Nigerian numbers. This is the United Nations that said over 350 have been killed alone in the Northeast. And we've got all the videos where they're saying, we wanted to go after the people, but the Nigerian government prevented us from doing so. Let's not talk about the one recently in Kaduna, where there was a helicopter, a Nigerian army helicopter that was supporting these terrorists. And Melafia talked about the fact that during the lockdown, and we've got all this data from all the borders, they were flooded in Fulani Almajiri. So let us talk to our communities. Almajiri are child killers. They are trained. The UN and other organizations have put out information that these children are trained killers. Then you have the young men that were supposedly fleeing from COVID, going from an area that had less COVID, coming to the south that had more COVID. And by the way, who are the Amajiris going to be begging from when we are on lockdown? And where are those Amajiri now? In the forest, waiting to attack. The young men in the forest, they were taking every which way, coming into the middle belt to the south. They are there currently, and more of them. They were moving around, as Melafia said. I don't know, do you want me to show that video, Citizen AY, where he talked about it? He talked about this, how they're moving, you know, they're moving as if there was no lockdown, right?
Yeah,
because,
I saw it, yeah.
They're being aided. So, but let's play that for everyone,
play for others,
so that they can see, you know, what we're talking about. So let me bring that up, because,
so
you know,
whilst
our people seem to need to see things and hear things 20 million times over before they take action, okay? Before they take action.
There is all of what we're doing, our reaction, our things have been, okay, let's
So go ahead, Citizen AY.
No, I was just going to say that a lot of what our people's responses, we really have to understand about the conditioning that many of us have gone through.
Absolutely.
And we have to factor that into what we're doing here, because many people, that conditioning, and particularly as they are in that same environment, many of us in diaspora, we are out of that environment. So we're able to pick up on those signs and those signals and reject it. They are immersed in it. So it's very difficult to fight back against something that, particularly many of them from the age of, since they were born, that's all they've known.
Yes.
So we do have to,
absolutely.
You know, so that's another thing area, but go ahead.
Absolutely. Now, that's why we were doing those series, and we'll kind of return to it, to let our people know that they are not stupid. We are one of the most brilliant people on this planet.
Literally.
Black people are one of the most brilliant people on this planet. They were doing things without any influence from the white man, from the Arab, from the Asian. Okay, they were doing their own Bronze Age, their own Iron Age. Okay, they were building their canoes. They were doing all their stuff. So our clothing was different because we're in a hot environment.
Yeah.
But we had democracy, all the empires, right?
Yeah.
Knew how to trade. They knew how to do all of this without any influence. We're talking from BC before Christ, BC before Christ. The Fulanese only arrived AD, and that's in the 18th century.
Yeah.
So let's be clear. We know what's going on. And it's not just in Nigeria. It's every Black person has that slave mentality ingrained in us, and we must break those shackles. We have to break those shackles. And so those in the diaspora must be communicating out, right? I mean, because we didn't all come here, you know, years ago. Some of them are just arriving. We cannot lose touch with back home to make sure that our people understand what's going on. So let me play this as we're coming to the end of this, so we hear what he has to say.
For more than 2 days, the government was. That is the real and the truth. And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks. Okay. Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforests of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Don't joke with what I'm saying. I have a PhD from Oxford University. I'm a central banker. We don't talk nonsense. So don't joke with what I'm telling you. I have this from the highest possible authority, higher authorities of some of the commanders of the killers of Boko Haram.
You said northern governors, past or present, Dr. Badaya?
No, current. No, they said one of them is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. One of them. And they're not looking for money. They have more than enough money. In fact, he told me they just came back from one of the Middle East countries in private jet full of ammunition and dollars.
Did they tell you, Dr. Badaya, why they would want to cause civil war in 2022?
Yes, so that they can continue in power.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. There's something else that he said back there that we have not really talked much about. The participation of the Middle East and the Northern African countries in what's going on in Nigeria. And he mentioned that it was just one little thing. They're coming back from the Middle East, right? Coming back from the Middle East. And the other thing that we haven't talked about, and I know we've mentioned this previously about kind of like what's going on, we talked about the fact that the UAE sent Nigeria the names of those who are funding terrorism. And have we seen anything happen since then?
Nope.
How long ago was that? So indigenous Nigerians, we need to stop the running here, running there.
Yeah.
You know, taking videos, screaming as to how they're killing us.
No.
Nobody is coming.
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to say.
Nobody is
Exactly.
coming. And let me show the response of the West. You know, maybe they don't know what's going on. I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm just stating the facts. Let's look at what their response has been, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the response. Let's see, where is it now? I'm trying to find that. Where we had the response. Okay, I don't seem to find that slide anymore. Oh, here it is. Okay, how has the West responded? The UN chief backs Nigeria's integration of insurgents. We talked about that before. US removes Nigeria from list of religious freedom violators. Hello, the world is saying Nigeria is the epicenter of violence, and the US removes Nigeria from that list.
Because they don't want us to do anything about it. They don't want the world to do, they're trying to hide it. They're part of the conspiracy.
This was just last month. UN approves sale of arms worth $1 billion to Nigeria under the circumstances of daily killings. So what do they know that we don't know? What is going on?
Profiteering from, they are just profiteering from genocide. They are profiteering from genocide. It is as simple as that. There is no other way.
It's just a question that we have to really grapple with as we, talk about the solutions that we need to have, right? It's something that we really need to talk about because, and I'm going to share a headline here where the Ninas back last year when this sale was anticipated made it clear. Suspend sales of arms to Nigeria for undermining democracy. Akintoye Nwodo, Turaki, others tell the US, EU, and others, right? These alleged arms bought with borrowed funds now with Boko Haram, ISIS bandits, herdsmen, and then they're calling for the abolition of the 1999 Constitution. So the sales were stopped then, but now, because it seems like we've quieted down, maybe, I don't know, they removed them from the list and they're selling them $1 billion. What is it? What has the Nigerian government done to show that it is protecting citizens? Name one thing. Any international group can please name one thing that this government has done to protect its people.
Zero.
Exactly. So why are you selling them? This amount? And I don't know, I haven't kind of confirmed it, but we saw with Buratai that there was a release, was it yesterday or the day before, that they found, you know, money and ammunition and all kinds of things in his place.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stephen.
I'm sorry. I don't know why we're surprised about the. I'm sorry. I don't know why we're surprised about the current administration's foreign policy responses to the atrocities in Nigeria. The democratic government that's in place was the same one that assisted Buhari to get into power, sending in David Axelrod, the democratic strategist. So we shouldn't expect anything different.
Well, we're calling out what there is, and that the onus is on us in the United States to see that that changes. The onus is on us to see that that changes, that we make such a stink about it, because the data is there. It is there every single day. Okay, so you know, Biden and Kamala Harris and their security agencies.
Jane,
I don't want to get political.
Yeah.
Need to understand what's going on in Nigeria. We have to make sure that we're communicating, and then when nothing happens, then we can say that they're complicit, right? But in the meantime, we, the people in the diaspora, and including those in Nigeria, must direct our communication directly to them. On Twitter every single day, I am sending Secretary Blinken, Antonio Guterres, the Senate GOP, the Senate Democrats, the House GOP, the House Democrats, the UK Parliament, the UK House of Lords, the EU Council, all these atrocities going on in Nigeria. They have intel, the CIA, Interpol, and the rest of them. They know what's going on. But if we don't show that we know what's going on, it will continue until we stand up solidly, unified, making this noise day in, day out. It will continue. And that's where the saving our nation and saving our people comes in. That's why we're talking about this. And we're being very open about the facts out there. These are facts. We did not make them up. We're taking them from videos. We're taking them from headlines. There's a ton of headlines. We could spend the whole day just talking about headlines in 2022 alone, the whole day. But we need to ratchet up the heat. Indigenous Nigerians must have the will to resist and defend their land. That's what we're talking about. And the road right now, we must hold those governors accountable. We have to hold them accountable, right? Because that's what we're talking about here. They must be held accountable. They are the ones that need to take care of business. So our community security, our national, ethnic nationality, restoration of those nations, they must stand with the people. And the only way they're going to do that is if the people make them. We're talking about people power here. The government is put in place by the people, even though in this case, they put themselves in power, because under the Constitution, people cannot even elect the people to go into government. The government controls that too. This is supposed to be a democracy, government by the people, for the people. This is a government for the politicians, against the people. So the people must rise up and go to their governors, their senators, their House of Reps, and demand the things that they are supposed to be doing. They must demand it. And that's using the help of the people in the out in the diaspora. But these are things that we need to do. Okay, Balade, I see that you want to make a comment. You can go ahead.
Sorry, I hope I'm not speaking up soon again. There's a couple of things, you know, what we were just saying about these organizations not being prescribed and all that. Well, the Americans did not put Boko Haram on the prescribed list when it started. In fact, they didn't want to look at it. That was then. And now I'm going to say something totally different, which I've been trying to say for quite some time. Do people know, you know, in Lagos, I watched a video recently. It was an Igbo gentleman that said this. He said, they have an Hausa chief in Lagos that is conducting things. It's conducting business like selling land. They called him the Seriki of Lagos. I thought, wait a minute, I know Seriki is an Hausa word.
Yeah, they're putting Serikis around Nigeria.
Around the Yoruba lands.
Rule the middle belt to the south.
Yeah,
that's the plan. That's part of the invasion plan.
So they've also now some Hausa guy has now got a chieftaincy title in Ibadan.
Let's be clear. The Hausas have been conquered a long time ago. The people we're facing are Fulanis.
Yeah, the Fulani. So basically, he gets a title from his buddies down in the Yoruba land. Now, people saying, why is he getting a title? They don't know why he's getting a title.
So again, that's part of the invasion. That's how they conquer. When they came into the Hausa land, they started killing their leaders and installing these Serikis and Emirs, right? They killed, and you can see that they're doing that now. When they go into the middle belt, they abduct the local leader and they kill them, and the government installs somebody else in there. The government installs somebody else in there. And a lot of times you hear the indigenes say, this is not our person. This is the modus operandi of the Fulani. You saw it with Othman Danfodio. We're seeing it unfold now. I'm not saying anything that is conjecture. This is in history. It was just recent history.
Oh,
this
sorry,
is
Jay.
you.
I've got one for you. This is a good one. I was watching a video last night, and they said, the Hausas, the Northern Muslims are saying they won't vote for Bola Tinubu because he's not a real Muslim. And I said, what do you mean he's not a real Muslim? He goes to mosque and all that. I said, don't you know they up there, they won't pray behind imam from down south? I said, so what's that got to do with the price of rice? They're Muslims, we're Muslims, and we're even Muslims before they became Muslims. But they say, no, you're not real Muslims.
That's one of the things that Nigerians must understand. We're talking about moderate Muslims. The people that we're talking about are extremist jihadists. They will kill moderate Muslims. They have killed moderate Muslims.
Yes.
And so make no mistake, all those, you heard Melafia, they're going to start killing prominent Nigerians. So all these governors and all these people that think that they're in bed with them, they're going to be the first to go. That's what Melafia said. And we're not paying attention. But we need to be able to help those back home to utilize the structures that we have in the villages, the structures that we have in the local government areas, the natural structures that we have to start mobilizing our people, to start mobilizing people power. We need to mobilize our people. This call has not changed. When Nina's put together the plan, we went into mobilization. We need to mobilize our people. There's no ifs, buts, or wherefores about it. That is what needs to happen. And so as we are rounding up here, I'm going to come back to Ngozi to really talk about, let's talk about the saving our nations, because you touched upon that when you talked about no referendum, no election, and you talked about the fact that there should be no elections, even talking about the process that we're going through now that is already fraudulent, that is already rift with so much problems with delegates being bought and sold out in the open.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know what happened.
They're
there,
being
so.
bought and sold out in the open. Welcome back, Citizen AY.
I don't know. Everything just shut down. I don't know why.
I know for some reason.
There's a bug in the machine.
Yeah.
Okay,
well.
so let's Ngozi, are you there? Let's talk about the referendum, because you mentioned that earlier about the no 2023 elections and the problems with that, and how that is kind of tied into the safety of the ethnic nations, you know, so that we can go to the reclamation or the restoration, as it were. Citizen AY, you can chat about that as well. I think Ngozi is not able to unmute at this time.
Okay. Now, sorry, you were talking about the restoration of hang on, let me just.
Right. Ngozi had made mention about the fact that we should not have the election unless we have referendums, right?
Right.
And
okay.
she talked about the problems that we have with this electoral cycle, which has been numerous, right?
I think here's my take on it. And it's only we have to be very, very.
Oops, it's gone again.
Yeah, it looks like we've lost him again.
Any circumstances support.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. Can you?
Yeah,
so
we can see
I cannot under any circumstances support restructuring. I can't. And here's why.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because that's not what we're going for. Restructuring is not going to do anything.
Because, and I know Ngozi, there's a slightly different angle to where she's coming from. And that is like
we're talking about referendum,
you know,
and not restructuring.
Well, she mentioned that there was some talk about referendum and restructuring, but we cannot restructure this document. We cannot restructure it.
Yeah.
It is a fraud. We cannot, there's nothing to discuss here. It has to be brought down. And once it's brought down, the people's voice must be heard. So now in Yoruba land, we have something equivalent to a referendum that's taking place. Over 5 million people have signed the petition. For me, that is good enough for me. Now, what needs to happen is in each of those regions, however people can take on that side of things, however we can best make sure that we solidify that decision, collective decision, whatever steps we need to take. I think that's where we need to go right now. And that involves ensuring, that is why safety and security is so important. You cannot have a nation, you cannot create anything without safety and security. It is the bedrock of everything that we do. That is why we need the active involvement of every community in whatever it is, where the steps we're going forward with now has to be based on the community's active participation. You cannot be a slide and say, oh, I'm waiting for somebody from the top to do it. We are all in this together, and you need to play your part. That is why we're coming and we're saying to you, at this point, those who have set up a referendum or setting it up, great. But you need to be part in every community. You need to see yourself as a sovereign community, because the government of Confronting Nigeria has failed you at every level, And until we continue to, we must continue to enlighten our people that they have that right to make a collective decision from one community to the next, from the middle belt all the way to the south. And those the decisions they make there, they are decisions that will be binding, because they are the ones who have made that collective decision. And nobody on this planet can ignore their decision making. Liechtenstein is only 35 or 39,000 people, and it's a nation in Europe. Let me say that again. Liechtenstein is only
35,000
resources. 39,000. Yes, and they have no resources, and yet they have the people, and the entire world respects it. They have their own embassies. They have, you know. So what I'm saying to you, what I'm saying is, it's time that our mind, that we have a lot of work to do as media presenters, so enlighten our people to let them know the kind of power that they possess.
Yes.
And the steps that they're taking. So when we're saying that's the foundation, once people know that they have that power, because right now people feel powerless.
Yes.
And we need to remove that psychology. And here's the man, like I said, Liechtenstein has no resources. We have over 40 mineral resources from the middle belt all the way down to the south.
And gas.
And gas.
And oil.
And this,
and the most arable land in the world.
Exactly.
Meaning the most farmable land in the world.
Indeed.
From the middle belt to the south.
Exactly.
We've got ocean, we've got rivers, we've got fish. What don't we have? We have everything. Everything. So I want to really just reiterate that. I think any talk about having a reconstruction or restructuring is out of the window. Referendum, that has to be done by each of the regions. Because we need to remember that each region would decide their own fate. Of the regional nations.
Exactly.
Regional nations.
Now, because we have to be very clear, because one of the dangers, if you start talking about, we're going to restructure, they've got you.
Yes.
If you start talking about restructuring, they've got you. You're back in again.
Exactly. Gotta get rid of that constitution. Yeah.
We need to break that down.
Yes.
We are, look, I am, and you see, we are linked to our land. Let me say this. As a native, you cannot continue to identify as a Nigerian when your ancestors are Yoruba. You cannot continue to identify as a Nigerian when your ancestors are Igbo. You cannot continue to identify as a Nigerian when your ancestors are Tiv. Because it is going against everything in you. And Nigeria is about taking everything that your ancestors provided for you. That's what it is about. So this idea of believing in a one Nigeria that is taking everything that belongs to you by way of the 68 exclusive items in that fraudulent constitution is something you should run away from. You should not be partaking in any discussion whatsoever. But we have a lot of work to educate our people. First thing first, in our communities now, there's security. They need any talk about panicking. Let me just mute that one. Any talk about panicking when something goes wrong. We need to stop that. What steps do we take? I'll be back again this next one. Okay, so exactly. So my point is that
can you read this, please?
Let me read that. Yes, my point is that only authentic identity for the. Let me read again. My point is that the only authentic identity for the African is the tribe. I am Nigerian because the white man created Nigeria and gave me that identity. Exactly. This particular point, I'm coming back. Okay, let me finish reading it. I am black because white man constructed black to be as different as possible from his white. But I was Igbo before white man came. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So right. Now, I was going to talk about, at the beginning of the broadcast, I talked about that I was going to come and talk about Berlin Conference. That is exactly the point. What you call ethnicity and everything else was created on the Berlin Conference table. I kid you not. The words, I have the words, and I will do a program on that. When you call yourself, you're divided, this is created on the table at the Berlin Conference in 1884-85. Look, we need to, there's a lot more to this, but let's just focus on where we are at the minute. Where we are right now is our communities and empowering them to know that the self-determination is their inalienable right, and backing that up by life, protecting themselves, the right to life in the community. Those forests, you have to find every means. If you have to mean that you are using local means and your ancestral belief system, please go ahead. If you're going to combine it with everything else, go ahead. But what is certain is I am a Yoruba man. I am not Nigerian. I have never been a Nigerian. This has been a fraud that has been imposed on you and I. And it's time we wake up and spoke up for our people, because that identity is tied to our land. If the longer you reject your identity and stick to one Nigeria, the quicker Nigeria takes your land. You need to wake up. That's the reality. I'm saying this in clear terms. We have to go for self-determination. We are not talk about being Nigerian, because Nigeria is a slave camp. Nigeria is about taking away what belongs to you and your ancestors. Your identity. Your identity is tied to your land, and you need to reconnect. These people are in our forest. That is the sign that they own that land. That's what they're telling you. You need to go and take back what your ancestors gave you. These guys were never not in the picture up until the 18th century. It's time we woke up. I'm sorry if I'm a bit
Yeah,
passionate about
let
this.
us go to Paul. Paul, can you unmute? Sorry, I've been waiting for Citizen AY.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone.
You are welcome.
Sorry, I'm at work. I've been doing some, but I have a little time now. So let me zero down on the need for us to protect our areas, particularly in the hinterlands, in the rural areas. It is tough to say the least because most of the rural areas in Nigeria, in the indigenous territories, have been taken over by these terrorists, headed by the army.
Yes.
Not necessarily in the villages, but they are in the bushes.
Yes.
Some time ago, I read some information about somewhere in Yoruba land where the indigenous were able to identify those Fulanis trying to killing their women and there's some elders there in the farms. And when they reported, nothing was done. The army now moved in. And
right. Amatekon, yes.
Yes.
And that's the story across all of the middle belt to the south.
Yes, exactly. It happened even in the primates that Ngozi spoke about, the Methodist primates. They call it said the same thing.
Right.
And if you remember, after the man was kidnapped and shortly released with his two associates, people from that neighboring town, they call it Isushi. I have a friend is from that hometown. I've even gone there. I've been to his place. We've passed the night a couple of times when we were in school in that place. People from that town, they came out and they were saying that they don't want the military in that area again because the military aid and abet those terrorists.
Exactly.
So it's the same problem everywhere. Anytime the people want to organize, the army will get hint of it and come invade them. And one problem we're having is that, unfortunately, there are some of our indigenes who serve as informants to the military. When the people gather to do some meetings to find a means to protect themselves, they go get information and report to them, thinking that they are being patriotic to the Nigerian government. But at the end of the day, they happen to go the other way. They kill them. It happens in my own area in Olam, from Olu area in Imo State. My area is being ravaged now. My mom is no longer in my hometown. Yeah, my mom lives somewhere else with my dad's elder sister. That is where she has been staying since late November last year. My elder brother is in Owerri. He cannot even go home to maybe just to see how the house is. So it's a big problem. So getting our people to organize themselves is a big problem. Many of them are scared. So I don't know, maybe enlightenment by us can, I keep talking to them sometimes at home and I call them and I for the information I get here and those I get from other places, I too pass it to them. Then there's one other thing I want to point out again about how we can make the international communities to get involved in what is going on. From what I'm saying here, it appears the government has a way of countering all we say, and what the government says is what the UN listens to. Probably the US government, the UK government have written them off. They are of no good to us. And we know the history of how Nigeria came to be. So if there's any way we can find people who have this liking for helping citizens who are suffering in their own country, here in the US, how to reach some of these administration officials who we can meet one-on-one and give them evidence of what is going on, not by them per se. So maybe through them, they can now pass this message to him himself or maybe Anthony Blinken. Because our embassy here is like all the information they get is whatever we say, they will call the embassy will give them a different information. At the UN, the government has a former Minister of Planning, a Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, who is now a Deputy UN Secretary General. He is there to protect the regime. So if there's any way we can find out or we can get some governments, like I know that the Australian government, though they are far away, but that government, I don't know if it was this Prime Minister now that was that came to power recently or the former one. They are interested in helping indigenous people because they have indigenous, they call them aborigines over there, and they've been doing somewhat to protect their own rights. So if there's any way we can reach all across, there must be a government. In fact, the real information that we have, but like this killing of indigenous people and Christians across the country, because it's a problem.
Guys, that is a great comment, and I flashed up where back in Hurua had mentioned the fact that the Nigerian government was definitely committing war crimes in Imo. You mentioned the state, so I pulled that up to share with everyone that's watching. So we need to be closing up in 4 minutes. So I'm gonna, Balade, if you can type your questions. I see what your question is, Noah, because I really do want us to be wrapping up. Ngozi, are you available to make some comments to what we're talking about? I do wanna just kind of quickly talk about the the things that we were talking about earlier, just the security of the indigenous nations, which is its restoration and reclamation. We've talked about this. We must demand referendum, right? We must demand referendum. We need to engage the politicians from our area, because that they are a point to start. When they don't act, then the citizens need to act. Okay. So we've seen that the federal government, from all angles, we have seen the federal government with their military and not working with the people, right? We've got to engage the international media. A lot of the things that you're talking about, Paul, even if we cannot get directly, they have Twitter handles. We've been begging, pleading with our people to come on Twitter, to come on TikTok, to be on Facebook, so that we can send information directly to these people in mass. It has not happened. So we need to educate our people that engaging the world leaders and organizations on Twitter, engaging them with our ambassadors that are going to be providing the information, using the media. The media is our friend, and that's one of the things that we really need to take more actions around. And just like the Yorubas, they put a referendum to ask the question. And all the other blocks, right? The Lower Niger block, the Middle Belt block, they need to be put in those referendums and getting the pulse of their people. This also allows us to share that information. And so all groups in all blocks must be focused on the security of the people, but also the security of the indigenous nations that must re-emerge for us to survive. The Fulanese are invading en masse. That is no longer a question. We have seen it. We see it every day. And we're just talking about what's out in the space. And remember, there's so much more going on that is not being seen here, right? So we need to support ending the Constitution, because it is that mechanism that has us in apartheid, and that is allowing this Fulani to bring in foreign Fulani, bold-facedly. Like Aruga Abala Mohammed said, they are already, back in 2019, they were already using 100% of Nigeria money to bring foreign Fulanese into Nigeria. And these are the same foreign Fulanese that Muhammad Buhari said are terrorists. That's the connection. No referendum, no election. And we must focus on Operation No Surprises for our personal safety, and Operation End False Narratives for national safety, the ethnic nation's safety. So now I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to come for final comments. Citizen AY, let's see. I see Noah. Noah, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Wole, you are welcome. I know this is the first time that you are joining us. You are welcome. Hope to see you again. Again, just letting everybody know this is Freedom from Nigeria, and we support all of the organizations, groups, and individuals that are focused on freeing the indigenous people from the existential threat that they face. We combine all this information for you so that you're not looking at it individually, but you can actually see what is going on. And so we bring this week in, week out, every week, every Saturday, so that our people can be informed, so that we can get our freedom. So Citizen AY, do you want to wrap up?
Okay,
let's just keep all of this short, because we're kind of way over time now.
Okay. Quickly. What I'm going to just say before I go, look, time is short indeed. Thanks for everybody. I want to thank my brother, Baba Wole, for coming in this evening. Great to see you again. I want to thank Stefality as well. I want to say Baba Stefality. I want to thank everybody, Ruby, Ngozi, Bolade, Jane, Paul, all of us for the contributions tonight. But look, above all else, I urge us all now, let's make this our collective priority. The lives of the indigenous people is the most important thing. Every life we save will mean that we make certain that we get our nation. Every life that we can save on ground now. So our focus must be how to empower our people. This is not even about finance now. Trust me. This is not even about finance. It's about empowering our people in their mind to wake up and defend with everything they've got. Because when they do, they will be surprised at what would happen.
Are you going to give us a little song of None But Ourselves Can Free Our Minds?
Yes,
I love that.
yes,
Why don't you do a little bit of that?
Okay. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, and none but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of it can stop other time. How long must they kill our prophets? And what we stand aside and look away? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. I want you help to sing this song of freedom is all I ever had. Oh yeah, redemption song. This song of freedom is all I ever had. Oh yeah, yeah. Redemption song.
Yes, freedom.
We
need to emancipate our minds. We need to emancipate our minds.
Start with our mind. We can do this. I have every confidence in the Middle Belters and Southerners. We can achieve it together with unity. Thank you all. I'll stop there.
Amen. I don't think there's anything else left to be said. Join us again next Saturday at the same time, same place, where we'll be talking about more things and bringing all this information together for everyone. But remember, unity is our strength. Indeed. Knowledge is power, and power is our freedom. And so we are here disseminating knowledge, and we are calling on all groups to exercise their power. We must mobilize our people. We must be united. We must utilize the media. These are all things that we can do to break the shackles that hold us in bondage and that is threatening our very existence. Thank you all again. And definitely now I will be ending. We're going to be ending the live stream. And I do apologize to everyone on the live stream. I still need to get an assistant that can be answering the questions. I try to do some of that, but not as much as I should. So I do apologize. I am going to be stop the live stream now.